time it is, Craig? Yeah, favorite segment, man. It's the Who You Got. All right, guys. Last segment. You know what time it is, Craig? Yeah, favorite segment, man. It's the Who You Got. And this is the playoff edition, so it's gonna be real intense. Mo texted me his are crazy. So yeah, he has Buffalo winning. Shout out Mo, you're gonna be the first on the show. He has Tennessee winning, Buffalo, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay. All right. So listen, and all the topics I put Bengals versus Raiders is Bengals versus Titans, guys. All right.
I was able to work that out.
I can start off with them. Offense, I have the Bengals. Once again, I think the quarterback position is better than Tannehill. Even though I respect Tannehill, came from wide receiver to playing an NFL quarterback. This is his second stop. Love the story. Joe Burrow has a better story. Couldn't make it to Ohio State, won a championship at LSU, got the Bengals the first playoff win in 31 years. Pretty good in the second season. Receivers, come on, man. Jamar Chase, Boyd. I mean, they're loaded. And now the Titans receivers are loaded too, but Julio is just not healthy. A.J. Brown's not healthy. They should be healthy now. But if both of them were healthy, and I still would pick Jamar Chase just because of the season he had. Running back, gotta go with Joe Mixon. The only reason is I love Derrick Henry. I don't know. He's playing, I guess. I don't know. I haven't heard reports. He hasn't played in 8 weeks. So, it's going to be interesting. But I got to give the edge towards the Bengals in the offense. The defensive side, I'm going to give it towards the Titans. I think their defense is more physical. I think that pass rush, Jeffrey Simmons is a problem in the middle. And he determines the game. He can make the game sway one way or the other. And I think he's going to cause a lot of problems for Cincinnati. So I'm giving it to Titans. Coaching. Zach Taylor did a great job this year. They kind of were up and down, but opposite of Cliff Kingsbury, he upped the intensity, right? They won some big games at the end of the year. Baltimore, Kansas City, under Kingsbury, I'm not sure they would have won those games. But Zach Taylor upped the intensity, and the Bengals came through strong. But I got to give it to Mike Vrabel, man. Shit, get coach of the year. I mean, losing Derrick Henry, not having Julio Jones, not having A.J. Brown. I know the schedule was soft, but still getting the number 1 seed is a phenomenal coaching job. So let's get to the meat and potatoes. I have the Titans winning, man. Now I know it's supposed to be some upsets. We'll get to those later, but I just have the Titans. I think Derrick Henry comes out. He's healthy. I think that I said it last week. I think this week the Titans get to Joe Burrow. I think not having a line in the playoffs are going to hinder you at some point, and the physicality of the Titans are going to be imposing on the Bengals. So watch for that matchup where because if they can't get the running game going and they apply pressure, Joe Burrow's going to make mistakes. And I think that's what's going to happen. And I think the Titans are going to win. I think the Titans in 24-17. Corey.
All right. Offensively, I'm with you, James. I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals. Just top to bottom, Joe Burrow is playing phenomenal football right now. That receiving core with Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. That's a lot to cover. And then you still got a really good running back in Joe Mixon. And who knows what condition Derrick Henry is going to be in going into this game. And that includes both his foot and how close is he even going to be to game shape? I know he's a physical freak, but there's a big difference between being on an exercise bike or jogging around, being in game shape for a football game.
Yeah.
So yeah. Defensively, I think the Bengals have a better all-around defense, but I put an asterisk on there because I think a lot of that hinges on the availability of Trey Hendrickson for the game. He's dealing with concussion. It's a question mark as to whether or not he'll be able to play. And him being out of that game for Cincinnati is a big time difference maker for that football game. Coaching wise, I'm going to go push. I know it's the playoffs. I know you're opposed to that, James. But I'm not as high on Mike Vrabel as a lot of people are, as you guys are. And Zach Taylor did a hell of a job this year. There's no way to put it. I didn't think he could do this. There were a lot of questions about him and how he was being received in a locker room and all of that before the season. And he shut everybody up in a hurry. So kudos to him. But he's still young, so it's hard to take him over Vrabel. Overall, biggest takeaway for me for this whole game is that it's incredibly disappointing that one of these two teams is going to be in the AFC Championship game, and we don't get Buffalo, Kansas City for a trip to the Super Bowl. That's the game everyone wants. That those two teams have, at least up to this point in the season, have kind of separated themselves as being the teams. But it is what it is. For the two teams playing in this game, I just look at it as Tennessee had kind of limped into the playoffs. Yes, they got the bye, got a chance to get some guys back, get a little bit healthy. But Cincinnati's the team on a roll. They're hot and Cincinnati and Tennessee has really bad run defense. I think that it's a chance for the Bengals to change things up a little bit, establish Mixon, and if they can get play action with those receivers,
it's a wrap. Yeah,
that's going to be tough for the Titans. And I don't trust Ryan Tannehill. If you ask me to take a quarterback, I'm taking Burrow 10 times out of 10.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Cincinnati to pull off the upset on the road.
Okay.
24-20.
All right. Craig, Bengals versus Titans, who you got?
Yeah, on the offensive side, I definitely have the Bengals. Even though Joe Mixon hasn't really ran the ball well, like he hasn't hit 100 yards since the 28th of November. So it's like 5 or 6 games maybe. In the playoffs, you have to add that one in there too. So he hasn't been as good, I guess, as people.
I didn't know that.
He only had 200-yard games this year out of 17. So he hasn't really been running the ball well. But you look at his numbers, he's like finished second, I believe, or third in rushing in the league. So
yeah,
he hasn't really been like average per carry hasn't been good as well. So, but overall, I mean, Joe Burrow he's on a roll. His wide receivers, he has really good wide receivers. Chase, Corey said the name, Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. And then on the other side, like I have no clue. I just have no clue about Derrick Henry, Julio Jones. I know AJ Brown should be out there. He's back. He's been back for a little while. But Tannehill, Tannehill is just, to me, is just not good. He's just below average to me. So I just don't see him on the same level. Like I can't even really put their offense nowhere near, especially with Derrick Henry being iffy. I think he went through full practice, I believe, or more intense drill. So
yeah, I think he had a contact practice. Yeah. I just read that.
Yeah, so he should. I mean, I'm assuming he should be good to go. But we shall see. But yeah, offensive side, I'm taking Cincinnati. The defensive side, just because Tennessee can get to the quarterback, I'm taking Tennessee. Excuse me, and Cincinnati's offensive line, they're just not good. They give up a lot of sacks. So Tennessee's going to be able to get to the quarterback. I would assume more than Vegas did last week. So we shall see. And with the extra week of rest, everybody, for the most part, who was hurt or a little bit iffy, they should be ready to go for this game. But yeah, I just think that defense for Tennessee, I think they were in the top 10 in sacks this year. So she'll see kind of a little bit of a, not really strength on strength, but the Bengals offensive line is just horrible. Coaching wise, this is tough because Mike Vrabel has done to get the number 1 seed. I actually didn't think the Tennessee Titans were going to make the playoffs this year. I think I had the Dolphins in or the Dolphins and Colts, I believe, and whatever. So they didn't make it. Or they actually got the number 1 seed. I'm sorry. So just the job he's done without Derrick Henry, without AJ Brown for some part of the season. Julio Jones has been a no-show. Like I said, Tannehill's he's not a good quarterback. So the fact that he's still there and he led the team basically to the number 1 overall seed. I like the job that Taylor has done this year. He's done a really good job because I didn't see them in the playoffs either. And they turn around and they won the division. But I'm slightly leaning just because of the talent and the players that have been hurt this year and to come up with the number 1 overall seed. And I know Tennessee kind of backed into that number 1 overall seed, but you got to give them credit. That being said, though, I'm leaning. I'm picking the Bengals. Picking the Bengals just because I think the quarterback position, even though their offensive line is shaky, I think the quarterback position is solidified with Cincinnati. The offensive side with their weapons, and even though I think Tennessee's defense is better, I don't really have them that much better than Cincinnati's. I think if Derrick Henry's healthy, though, it could I might change my pick on Sunday morning. As of right now, I'm picking Cincinnati. So I'm going 26-23. I'm going with the Bengals.
All right, Corey.